Hi, thanks for staying. This video, I will be covering how to write and read Excel and text files. So this is one of the very common use of R. So you basically have a data set somewhere in a computer in Excel. You want to read it, or sometimes you want to write it. So the most common formats people use is Excel and text. Text has a anything like extension of .txt and Excel commonly like XLSX or .csv. So let's see first a very simple example. Before we see how we can export or import Excel or text file, one thing you have to learn is how to set your working directory. Working directory means that you have your files. For example, you have an Excel file in your computer in a given destination, in a given directory, and what you want is uh, make that directory the home of R. Means that if you want to read something using R, you can just call something that from that folder. For example, in this, what I'm doing is I'm saying that okay, R, go to this folder. So now R makes that folder as its home. So what you can do is you can read anything from that folder. So let's go to the code and see how it looks like. So in this case, I'm like setting the working directory of this folder. So what does it mean? What does it means is now your computer knows this directory as its home. So let's see what this folder directory has. This directory has a lot of things. For example, I want to see what's there in this directory. What are the things in this directory? So this is a commonly used list.files. So I'm running list.files. What it does is listing down all the files that is available in this folder. So what it does is you are saying go to that directory and make it your home directory, then you're listing all the files in that directory. So this another function like get wd. This is like, for example, many times you are not setting directory, but you want to know what is the home directory. So you can use this command like get working directory. So this shows what is your home working directory. So like this, you can change the directory anything. And this function list files, as I said, it lists down all the files. But if you want specific extension, like for example, you want all the files that has extension of .txt. So what you can do is like list.files, then you can say pattern, and then you're putting asterisk and .txt. So what it does is saying in this folder, this is the only text file. You can write it like .csv. So it lists down the CSV files. So likewise, you can do anything, like anything. So like whatever you want. So there are like a lot of options you have, like R. If you want R, it lists down all the R. So these are very, very useful, like in the long run when you're going to use R for listing files. So this is like an example of how you're changing the directory. This is important because now we will be exporting data and we will be reading data. So it is very much important to know that where the data is exported and where the data is located that you want to import. So before we want to export something, let us use a data that we want to export. So when you install R, it comes with some default data set. Like you don't have to like these are not you're bringing something to R already have it with it. So one of the example is these cars. So these cars variable stores speed and the distance. And what we will be doing now is we will be exporting this car variable into Excel and text file, and then again importing those to R. So let's go to our code. Example one, we will be using the data set that's called R, cars. So let's see what's first few lines, like head of the car variable. It has speed and distance. Okay, now we know what is there, like speed and distance. So we can also see what is a class. Class is like, it can be different. It can be like list, it can be matrix, it can be many things. For example, the data we are using now is data frame, like it's a 2D array that has row and column. So let's see how to export data to Excel. So for now, we will exporting into CSV file. So this is a function that we use. What we do is use write.csv. This is the variable we want to export, comma, and file, the name of the CSV file, like exported CSV file. So for example, I'm running this line. So this is exporting the file. So let's see how it looks in the exporter. So this is the file that is exported. And if you open it, you will see that, okay, this is exported from R. You have speed, distance, and this basically ID. These are commonly used. So you can avoid exporting the ID if you want. So one way to do is, like for example, you can say row names false. What it does is, if you go to this, you see there's no ID. So similar to CSV, let's export in text file format. So I'm saying that write.table, which is exporting, like one of the way to export text files, export cars to a format like for example.txt, and the values will be separated by comma. So when I export it, let's see. So you see that this is like in commas they exported, but there's something like the first values are still ID that I don't want. So let us avoid that. Row names false. So again, go to there. You see there's no row name. Okay, so this is a nice example how you can export the values from R to Excel and text file. So now let's see the opposite. We want to import the files. We want to import the Excel file. We want to import the text files. So for example, here, the common that is used to read the Excel like CSV file, like we done in before write.csv, to read the CSV file, we use the read.csv and write the CSV name. So let's run this, and df is reading the CSV file. So let's see the first few lines. You see that df stores the imported file. So similarly, you can import text file. For example, here you write read.table, like we've had like write.table before. Read.table, we're saying there's a header in the top, like there's a column name, and the values are separated by comma. So df2, then you're looking at head2 again. So it works. So this is an example. This is a very useful example how you can read and write data sets. And they're like, I showed you example of exporting, importing text file. It is not limited to this. Using the write.table, you can read different formats. Like you can read BAT format, you can read DAT format, like a lot of other formats you can read just using this command, like write.table and read.table. So this is all about how to import and export data from R.